Let's take a look at British politics, because just when you thought it couldn't get more exciting or more verbal, it's now become more physical. A chaotic vote in Parliament has prompted allegations of bullying and manhandling, and came just hours after another minister packed her bags. The hardline Interior Minister stepped down, saying she had concerns about the direction of the government. Prime Minister Liz Truss sacked her Finance Minister last Friday following a major U-turn on a new tax policy. It's all raising questions about how long Truss can survive in the job.
Prime Minister Liz Truss's government is on the brink after a day of chaos and confusion at the House of Commons.
Mr. Speaker, I have been very clear that I am sorry and that I have made mistakes.
The Leader of the Opposition mocked her apology.
And what's the Prime Minister's response? To say she's sorry. What does she think people will think and say? That's all right, I don't mind financial ruin, at least she apologised.
But the Prime Minister is determined that she will not resign.
Mr. Speaker, I am a fighter and not a quitter.
This did little to convince even her own lawmakers, who were among those heckling the Prime Minister. Another blow came when Suella Braverman was forced to resign as the UK Home Secretary over a breach of ministerial code. She did so with a searing attack on Truss. In her parting shot, Braverman said the government had broken key promises. Replacing her as the new Home Secretary is Grant Shapps, an arch critic of her cabinet and a close ally of Truss's defeated leadership rival Rishi Sunak. This is the second major upheaval in the cabinet in a week. Confusion later erupted during a parliamentary vote, when it was unclear how Conservative MPs were expected to cast their ballot. Opposition lawmakers said they saw Conservative MPs forcing their colleagues to vote in line with the government.
I saw members being physically manhandled into another lobby and being bullied.
The government won the vote, but Truss is rapidly losing support within her own ranks.
There are rumours.
This is an absolute disgrace. As a Tory MP of 17 years, who's never been a minister, who's got on with it loyally most of the time, I think it's a shambles and a disgrace. I think it is utterly appalling.
After a day of body blows to the Prime Minister's authority, it's unclear how long her government will survive.
Well, it seems like they'll have to put in a revolving door down at 10 Downing Street. Let's go over to our London correspondent, Birgit Maas, who's following this story. Just explain a bit of the chaos and division for us among the Tories there to our, viewers.
Well, the big question is, how did it come to this? Why is this Tory party that's traditionally the party of government in the UK, that's traditionally been seen as a party that has economic competence, how is it that they are in such utter chaos? And I think there are different ways to answer that question. One would be with a more short-term view. So a few weeks ago, the government unveiled a budget, a mini-budget, and that was seen as not a good move. So they had their whole program was about aggressive tax cuts, but they didn't explain how they would fund these tax cuts in a time of crisis and where the governments and also the people's pockets are really stretched. So that set the markets into turmoil, and that really dented the idea that the Tories do have economic competence, because it was quite unprecedented. The reason behind it, I think, was that the present government don't have a high regard of institutions. They did not listen to people who were warning that this might happen, that if they unveil a budget like this, that there would be chaos and confusion, that the markets would not understand. So they didn't listen to the experts, and they disregarded institutions that were warning them. And this is also, I think, where the long view is interesting. So the Conservative Party, since Brexit, has seen a strand of libertarians who are very suspicious of institutions, such as the EU institutions, have them, in a way, regain the upper hand. But that's only a strand of the Conservative Party. And as a result, the party is very, very deeply divided, and Liz Truss doesn't really have the authority over the whole parliamentary party.
Well, Birgit, what's going to be next? Because it sounds like a huge portion of incompetence to clear up here. But how much longer do you think Liz Truss will be able to hang on to her job?
There are not that many parliamentarians and even cabinet ministers left who want to defend Liz Truss and who are confident that she will lead the party into the next general election. In the polls, they are facing absolute oblivion, and this was before yesterday's turmoil. The opposition Labour Party is about 30 points ahead, so it looks really, really dire. So the Conservative Party are looking who could be following in Liz Truss, and at the moment this is proving difficult. There isn't a unity candidate as yet, but as soon as they find someone, I think Liz Truss's days are numbered.
Birgit Matt in London, thank you very much for bringing us up to date on these exciting times in British politics.